Well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're working on a 1970 Chevelle SS 454. 4-speed car, actually. We don't know really much anything about this car. This guy, I guess, bought it, and somebody else was building it, and he bought it. He's like, I don't really like the 4-speed. We're like, well, we can put a TKX 5-speed in it. And he's like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. So it's here to get a TKX 5-speed installed. We've got clutch, bell housing, flywheel, transmission. The original drive shaft is supposed to switch out. We'll figure that out here in a minute. And then we will take it for a test drive, figure out what gears are in it, and make a decision on whether or not we need to change gears. So, what's on today's agenda? Let's get to work. Get this thing on a rack. At least it's on its way to being a really nice car. Hood hinges or some hood springs. Ooh, somebody spent a lot of time on this car. Let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. Set that down just for my luck. I'll get it up in the air and it'll fall. Well, this is a pretty nice car. Somebody spent a lot of time on it. It's definitely had a rear trunk pan put in it, and the frame's been completely out of this car and painted and redressed. 12-volt posi. Got the old F70 14s on her. Pretty nice car. Let's see what our gear ratio is. 1, 2, 3. Looks like about a 373 gear ratio, so that's good. I don't know what this TKX is set up for, but we'll figure that out as we get it unboxed. I got a couple parts to pick up that are in the storage unit. I'll run up there, grab those, get our new transmission unboxed, get the old transmission out of the car, and get it put back together. So let's get some parts organized and some tools organized, and let's get the tranny out of this car. Side load 4-speed. Pull the boot out of the inside of the car. Go ahead and get the drive shaft out. Start slinging nuts and bolts. Drop my nut again. Seems to be a common trend. Guy's not coming up. Not cooperating. stretched. Oh well. Those are long enough. Lordy, those are probably bottoming out all the way on the trans. Oh, this 5-speed is going to be so nice in this car. I'm looking forward to an extended test drive.
Well, that's pretty.
She's a pretty one.
I like what you're doing here, sir. Maybe not the exhaust.
The exhaust leaves a little bit to be desired. The fact that it's put together
Is
with
this with screws?
Self-tapping screws are what's holding the exhaust together at the moment.
No, sir. No, sir.
Less than desirable. That's alright. This is probably a reverse switch lever that's not hooked up.
He did make a comment about good luck getting into reverse.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I got it in reverse, but it took a minute.
He did. I forgot to mention that.
This has this lever here that's supposed to go up to the column, because the column, there's a linkage from the manual shifter to the column, and the automatic column rotates, the base of the column rotates, and that's what does your neutral and your reverse switch. And none of that's hooked up, so if your lower barrel on your column gets into the reverse place, then you drive around with your reverse lights on all day. But hooking that up's critical for reverse light and neutral, park safety. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if this, when we get this out of the box, we'll see if it's got a different provision that makes that easier than 18 feet of linkage and rotary switches. So we'll see. I need a block of wood. Need a little kindling.
How's your sound?
Quiet. Very, very quiet. You would not know that it has a big body.
I didn't hear you pull it in.
You didn't hear me do anything in it.
No, normally something.
Normally I give it a blip of the throttle, and I'm at the door. This one, no. This one is.
Well, he does say he wanted it to be a cruiser.
Oh, it'll be a great cruiser. Somebody spent a ton of time on the body and the chassis, and they put the coil springs in wrong though. They're not
clocked right.
They're not clocked right. They're not in the pocket.
I think we've discussed that ad nauseum.
We'll see if I get to use my spring compressor again. That thing is paying for itself quickly. Oh, whoopsies. That was gravity. That was my bad. Somebody can take a drink on that one. I'm gonna have to just start. I'm just gonna start throwing stuff so that people can have beverages.
By the end of this 20-minute episode, you're gonna be hammered. It's a really nice car.
Yeah, it's a nice. I didn't mean to do that, but that's all right.
We're 3 drinks in, guys. 5 minutes.
That's all right.
Pause the video.
The sound quality is going to be a lot better on this video than the ones where I'm on the alignment rack with everything going on around me.
There's a moment where it literally sounds like you're in Santa's workshop. Because Jeff is like, ting, 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 ting. Somebody else is making another noise in the background.
Jeff was mad at that, whatever that thing is, Colorado. What a horrible design.
It's a cacophony of noises.
Yeah, well. That's what happens when you're actually in a shop.
Can't tell everybody to quiet on set.
Yeah. This isn't what I thought I was going to be fighting with on this car, but I get it. It's just going to take a minute. Lose all the blood flow to my fingers. All right. Mr. Shifter's loose. I think I'm going to have to drop that shifter down if I remember right. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. Although I get to do one here real soon on my C10. Basically doing the exact same thing to it to make it more drivable. Or at least more fun to drive. Dang it! Okay, I win. I'll take my wins wherever I can get them. Ooh, the fluid coming out of this tranny is black. I guess I'm not surprised it doesn't have a drain plug on it, so it's probably been in there for a minute. It's funny how you make all this linkage to use the shifter that's part of the column when they could have just put a switch on the mechanism. Like, really, guys? Talk about overcomplicated. Alright. My boot. What was that? I guess it wasn't necessary. Whatever it was. Hey, I'm free! Oh. Get your weights. Get your weightlifting in. Alright, now we got a bell housing. Clutch is not adjusted quite right. Ooh, that's a good view. Right in the tail hole. Probably 4. Nope, 3. Somebody left that one out for me already. Mr. Compressor, always noisy. Let's pull our bell. Ooh, that's going to hit the ground when I get this off. Bing! Hey, it's a brand new GM dust cover. Wow. That's interesting. You spent some money on that. I'll show you how dingy this one is next to one out of the Vapor Home. We just cleaned a couple of these. Alright, let's drop our clutch. Hello there, Mr. Clutch. And then our flywheel. And then we get to act like it's Christmas and open a bunch of new boxes. You guys haven't had any drinks for a bit. Take 2. I think it's Mr. Montgomery's made a comment in the comment section that they're playing a drinking game, and whenever I drop something, they take a drink, so good luck with that. Oh, I didn't think that out very well. Okay. Hey, look, it's a brand new clutch. Flywheel side, it was installed correctly, that's good. Dropped my phone, dropped a bolt. Man, it's a tough day today. 11/16. Alright, let's pull that guy out. Now this is the tricky part. I gotta hang on to this while getting the bolt out. I'm not dropping any of it on my toes. The flywheel will stay. but I never trust it. Oh, that guy's on there. Oh, come on. There it is. I'll take this down before gravity does it for me. But you gotta remember to put it back in when you put your flywheel back up in there, because then you gotta drop your starter. But there's really no reason to drop the starter if you remember to put this back in. Well, that was a pretty good no drama pull. Oh, it's a hypo. High perf. I don't know what that means, but it says high perf on it. I would expect that to be high performance. Somebody out there knows. What's that mean when it says high performance on the back of the block? I gotta wash the schmutz off my hands. Two-piece rear main seal, so it's an older big block. I'll have to take a look and see what the block casting number is. That'll tell us a little bit more about it. And then the stamping off the front, if it's still there, would actually give us a bunch of identification information. But for now, I gotta run and pick up parts and get everything here so I can get it staged. So we'll move on to the next step, which is hopefully reassembly. Very painless removal. That went very, very easily. Easily. I like easy. That's good for profitability. All right. Ran down to the storage unit and grabbed all our parts. We actually sold this job a few weeks ago, and we asked for a deposit on the job, which allowed us to go ahead and buy the parts that were in stock at the time. We wanted to make sure the customer was serious about getting the job done, but also we wanted to make sure that when we were able to get it scheduled in, that we would actually have the parts here. So, that's not my favorite cross member. Probably a better one than that, because this is a weld-in one, but we can make that work if we need to. We'll set that aside. But we do have our McLeod clutch, we have a Jegs flywheel, we have a Lakewood bell housing, and then we've got new hardware and what looks to be a cable adjuster. Oh no, that's a speedometer adjuster. Okay, that's for the speedo gear. GM adapter. Yeah, cool. We're probably going to need that. Ooh, it matches the car. That looks correct. Dust shield, new pivot ball, new bell housing, new boot, and a fork. Oh, hardware, bell bolts and trans to bell housing bolts. Very nice. Ooh, shiny. This is sexy.
Yeah. That's the answer to everything right now.
The
TKX. Yep. That's literally the answer to everything right now.
Well, I mean, it solves the, driving on modern roads really easily.
And it'll take a lot of abuse.
What's it rated for?
A lot.
A lot.
It's what's in Billy's Turbo Mustang.
Is it?
That makes a lot of power.
Oh, shipped with no oil. You didn't give me oil. Fail.
We're not at that point yet.
If that's the worst thing that happens on this install, we're doing really well. This product is warranted 12 months from date of purchase. No labor. Transmission will be free of defects in material and workmanship under normal use and service when properly installed in appropriate applications. Warranty is voided if transmission is modified or used for racing. There you go. Alright, well, let's put this thing up in there. That's nice. I like it. Alright, so I've got my new Jags flywheel in there. Jags! ARP flywheel bolts. I have a Lakewood bell housing, which looks to be a really nice piece. It actually looks identical to the one we pulled out. It's probably not, though. It's definitely not because it's made by Lakewood. See, it says Lakewood on it. This has all the bolt points for any GM setup. So small block, big block, LS. Yep. Put a TKX behind anything GM made with this bell housing. She fits perfectly. I like it. Let's put our clutch in. So we're probably going to put a new pilot bushing in first. Ooh. Very nice. All right, so that should be flywheel side. That should be pressure plate side. Throwout bearing, pilot bushing. So on your pilot bushing, there's a rounded side, and then there's a squared off side. You want the rounded side to be coming out of the transmission, because it helps you align your transmission snouts when you throw it up in there. That guy's probably not that old, but I'm going to change it anyway. Slide hammer rules. So this is a self-lubricating bushing, but I still put a little bit of grease in them. So I don't think anything should be put together dry, unless you're specifically told to do so, like head gaskets, you know, stuff like that. Oh, that's crooked as a banana. So grab my punch and straighten that guy up, knock him into place. That's tight. It came out a lot easier than that, didn't it? One more wallop, and she's good. Gravity, don't you hate me? Don't you do it? These do have washers, and the curved part of the washer needs to go towards the head of the bolt. I have taken a lot of these things apart, and the washers are installed wrong. You guys got to pay attention to that stuff when you're putting this stuff together. Alright, these have the nice shoulder reliefs, so the load of the clutch is actually being held on the shoulder into the flywheel, and then the clamping force is minimal, just enough to compress the clutch. I'm going to Mr. Pressure Plate covers Mr. Clutch. We work together as a team to motivate this vehicle down the road. Oh, too much. I want to be able to move my clutch. Which one's gripping? Oh, that one's gripping. There we go. Now we can move it. I want to be centered. I just kind of feel where center is, and then I get it to where it's snug. I want the clutch alignment tool to pull out like super smooth, and it's not doing that. So we'll loosen it up, try it again. That's pretty smooth. I've had them smoother. Do I want to play with it more? Not really. Let's torque it down and see what it feels like, because I might be loading it weird because I don't have it tightened down all the way around. I think we'll roll with it. Garbage. You do want to kind of evenly torque it down. And then once they're all bottoms, torque it to 25 foot-pounds. Alright, our clutch is in, our pressure plate is torqued. I guess I'm going to go ahead and put my pivot ball and clutch fork boot on my new bell. My new throwout bearing. I'll put that up in there, and I think that's all I got in me for tonight. I'll stab this tranny up in here tomorrow when I got some extra hands. I'm going to try and use the original cross member, because that welding thing is just not something I want to put into this car. If I can make it work, I'll make it work. If I can't make it work, I'll make something else work. Alright, so the new Lakewood bell housing came with a new boot. Go ahead and stick that in the hole. And then probably go ahead and put my pivot bolt in, which I hit it with a little bit of Loctite, a little blue 242 Loctite on the threads, and a little dab of grease in the pocket. And drive that guy home. Oh, gravity. Dang it. So then, my new throwout bearing is installed. It just clips on underneath the tabs. Well, the tabs go in between the shoulders. If you put this on wrong, it gives a weird pedal feel. That's on wrong. Let's go to the outside. The other one was installed like that. I'm like, man, I always thought they went on the outside. I'm pretty sure they go on the outside. So then this guy's got fingers on it. They snap in behind the shoulder of the pin. Which you probably can't see. So close. So close. like I'm about to eat this pry bar. There we go. Make sure both of my tabs are on the back side of the shoulder. And the boot does go on the outside. So that guy's ready to hang up in the car. The Lakewood bell housing kit does come with all new hardware for mounting the bell housing to the engine, mounting the transmission to the bell housing. It comes with the dust shield and the hardware to mount the dust shield to the bell housing. So pretty good little kit. I like it. Makes it all shiny and new. My battery is about dead, so it's probably just going to fade to black here in a second. Get my wire out of the back of there. Not bad. Put my new bell bolts in. I'm going to go ahead and lock down my bell housing bolts and put on my dust shield, and then in the morning I will be ready to stab a transmission in this thing. So rock and roll. This project so far has gone seamlessly. Very nice kit from Lakewood, very nice clutch from McLeod, good flywheel from Jegs, and you know, a TKX 5-speed is going to be amazing in this car. Looking forward to test driving this thing. Oh, that hurt. That was dumb. Walked right into it. I swear, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Ow. It's silly. Ugh, no wonder I'm going bald. Hurt. Let's see if we can fit it in the hole, shall we? If I can pivot the engine down, give me the angle I need. But that is gonna be tight. I have never seen exhaust put on with self-tapping screws before. That is a first. Pain in the dick. So close. So close. Looks really good. A little bit afraid I'm going to have to trim the floor pan a wee bit. I'm not afraid, I just think that's probably what's going to happen. Definitely going to need go up. I need to call the customer, make sure he's okay with me cutting his floorboard out. And I guess he is. Let's do that. It is dimensionally very similar to what we took out. It's a few inches longer. The shifter is actually reversible, which will solve my shift point. There are also a couple manufacturers out there making modified shifters for Tri-5s and other offset applications. So that's cool. This does bolt into the original cross member. I'm going to have to clearance the pass-through a little bit because the shifter socket is a little bit bigger than the hole I have to work with, so I'm just going to clearance it out about 1 inch on each side. And then we will have to get a different drive shaft built for this. I think the automatic Turbo 400 drive shaft is a bolt-in swap for this because this definitely has the Turbo 400 or requires the Turbo 400 output. And it's a couple inches shorter than the 4-speed drive shaft. So I'm actually going to pull this back down, put my shifter in the forward position. Well, sorry, technically it's the middle position. You can get a forward shifter, which moves it to the forward plate, which is like right in this area. So you can take it forward even farther with a different shifter setup. But we're going to try and use the shifter that came on the car, because our factory shifter will bolt to it on the left side, and it should put it right in the exact same spot as where we pulled it out of. So that works out really well for interior center consoles and all that stuff. So I'm going to take this guy back out of here, and then we will make a phone call about a drive shaft and keep moving forward. So this transmission's set up pretty cool. It's got a rear shift position. Got a middle shift position, and there's a kit to make a forward shift position. That's pretty awesome, man. So it looks like I got a trim on both sides of the shifter. With the shifter in the forward position, it's right where I want it to be, so that's good. Sorry, in the shifter in the middle position, forward position for this shifter. I'm going to trim that floor a little bit. I've got it marked. I'll pull the trans back out one more time, and that should be it. And we can put it in permanent like. I'm probably going to have to trim back here or just massage it up. So I will probably do that as well. My box holds it just fine. This is a box I built for pulling Ford transmissions out because they have a really abnormal transmission pan, so it helps keep them stable. Dink. What did you do today? Oh, I cut up the floor in a 1970 Chevelle. Oh. To make it better. Good thing I had eyeglasses on. Put this back up in there one more time. Let me take a break. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. Please pause for station identification. Well, I am pretty much at a standstill on this TKX conversion. Drive shaft is ordered, a couple connectors are ordered, and a speedometer drive conversion adapter is ordered. So once those all come in, we'll be able to get back on this thing. I'm probably going to go ahead and reinstall the exhaust and then seam weld all the joints, because it was kind of put together with self-tapping screws like gutters, and they were leaking everywhere. So we'll probably do that. And then as soon as the guys down at Driveline 1 get our drive shaft built, we'll be able to stick the shaft in here and take it for a test drive. Looking forward to that, honestly. Very clean car. Very glad they chose to have us do this TKX conversion. Everything fits really nice. There's a specific drive shaft yoke. It looks to be I've got the number over there. I'll talk about that on the drive when we get the drive shaft back. Shifter placement looks good. I'll get the shifter put back in and the interior all put back together, and we'll keep moving forward. So thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll see you on the next one. Stay safe out there.